सुश्रुत संहिता सूत्रस्थान अध्याय 45 द्रवद्रव्यविद्य अध्याय उष्णेन मधुसंयुक्तं वमिन्नेषु अवचारितम् अपाकाद् अवस्थानान् विरुद्धयेत् पूर्ववत् वमन विषये उष्णेर्न अप्य विरोधम् आह उष्णेन इत्यदि यद्यपि वमने उष्णस्य मधुना विरोधो न उक्तं तथापि वृद्धया न प्रयुञ्जते वमनस्य अधोगति भयात्। वमन क्रियाओं के उष्ण जलादि द्रव्यों के साथ प्रयुक्त मधु पाक न होने से तथा शरीर में नहीं ठहरने से विरुद्ध नहीं होता है। So, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about clinical paradox that confuses almost every BMS student and challenges many experienced practitioners. From the very first year of our Ayurvedic studies, one rule is drilled into our mind: never heat honey. Never mix honey with hot substances. We are taught that heated honey undergoes a toxic structural changes. It turns into armor, and not just regular armor, but a substance that acts like a Visha or poison in the body. It clogs the Srotas, disrupts the Agni, and causes severe metabolic issue. But here is the paradox. In one of the most profound, deeply detoxifying procedure of Panchakarma, Vamana Karma, we deliberately combine honey with warm substance. We mix it into emetic paste and we follow it up with warm decoction. So, why doesn't it kill the patient? Why doesn't it causes massive toxicity? And more importantly, how do we use this exception to get incredible clinical result without triggering a disastrous complication? If you are an Ayurveda student, an academician, a scientist, or a practitioner who wants to build a highly successful, knowledge driven clinic, this video is for you. We are not just going to read a shloka today, we are going to decode the exact pharmacology, the exact clinical formulation ratio, and a hidden warning from our acharyas that could save your practice. If you want to just survive in your practice and start mastering the science that make patient trust you for life, hit that subscribe button right now and let's dive in. Let's go straight for the foundational text. If you have a notebook, write down Sushruta Samhita Sutrasthana Chapter 45 dravdravyavidhya अध्याय verse 146. The Acharya clearly state उष्णेन मधुसंयुक्तं वमनेषु अवचारितम् अपाकाद् अवस्थाना विरुद्धयेत् पूर्ववत्. Let me translate this clinically. The first line उष्णेन मधुसंयुक्तं वमनेषु अवचारितम् means when honey is combined with hot substances and administered specifically for the purpose of common emesis. The second line is where pure science happens. Apakan avasthanan viruddhayet purvavat. It means it does not become incompatible or toxic and it normally would for two distinct reasons. Apakat anavasthanat. Let's break down Apakat first. For the scientist and academician watching, Apakat means because it does not undergo digestion. When a patient ingests hot water and honey on a normal day, it sits in the stomach. It encourages the Jataragni. The heat of digestion combined with external heat alter the complex enzyme and sugar in the honey. Modern scientists call this the creation of hydroxymethyl furfural or a HMF, a compound that spikes when honey is heated, leading to toxicity. But in women, the entire physiological goal is urdhva bhag rapid upward expulsion. The medicine goes in and it is forcefully expelled before the Jataragni can even begin the process of Paka or digestion. There is no breakdown, therefore, there is no toxic arm created. The second reason is Anavasthanat, which means because it does not stay in one place, the honey does not remain in a amashay, the stomach, long enough to cause harm. It acts purely as a vehicle and a scraping agent and then it leaves. This is a brilliant of Ayurveda. We don't just have rules, we have context. And mastering these context is what elevates you from basic doctor to a master physician. The clinical formulation ratio, the 4 raised to 2 raised to 1. Now, theory is wonderful for exam, but when a patient is sitting in your Panchakam theatre, theory isn't enough. You need exact clinical execution. How do we actually formulate the Vamana Kalpa, the emetic paste? In Charak Samhita, the dose of Madanpal Pipli is mentioned as Antarnaka Mushti Praman, the amount contained within the patient closed fist. But in modern clinic, to ensure predictable result and avoid the nightmare of atiyo, that is excessive vomiting or ayo, no vomiting at all, we need standardized gramages. Here is a standard clinical ratio you should be using for a patient with madhyam kostra, a moderate bowel, and average strength. While the ratio is 4:2:1, 4 part of Madanpal Pipli Churna. This is your woman drug. Clinically, this translates to 4 to 6 gram. If the patient has a crude coaster, a very hard bowel, you might push this to 8 gram, but start at 4 to 6 gram. 2 part of Vacha Churna. This is about 2 to 3 grams. Vacha is your Vamanopag. It is the aromatic stimulant that open the microchannel and support the upward movement. 1 part of Sandhavlavan, rock salt, 1 to 1.5 grams. And finally, you add a catalyst, madhu or honey. You add QS, quantum sataise, just enough to titrate this dry powder into smooth, easily leakable paste. Usually this takes about 15 to 20 ml. Why must we use honey here? Honey is the ultimate yogavahi. It carries the potency of Madanphala deep into the srotas. Because honey has a kashai, astringent and duksha dry properties, it literally scrapes the profound, sticky, morbid cough away from the mucosal wall of the stomach. The rock salt, being tikshna or sharp, causes rapid cough vilayan, liquefying the toxin so they can be easily expelled. Let the formula sink in. When you prepare this correctly, the patient doesn't struggle. The doshas detach smoothly and the woman is effortless. This is how you build trust. When patients see that your procedure are exact, scientific and comfortable, they don't just come back, they bring their families, they buy into the Ayurvedic lifestyle you are prescribing, not just a quick cure. Dalhana's master warning, preventing adhogati. Now we reach the most critical part of this master class. If you zone out now, your risk a major clinic failure is your practice. We just established that Sushruta explicitly exempted honey and heat from being toxic during woman. But if we open the Nibandha Sangra, the brilliant commentary by Acharya, we find massive clinical warning. Dalhana writes, वमन विषये उष्णेन अप्य विरोधमाह उष्णेन इत्यादि यद्यपि वमने उष्णस्य मधुना विरोधं नोक्तं तथापि वृद्धा न प्रयुञ्जते वमनस्य अधोगति भयात्. Let me repeat the last word. वमनस्य अधोगति भयात्, out of the fear of adhogati, downward movement. Dalhan is telling us, look, even though Sushruta said it is biochemically safe to use hot liquid with honey in Vamana, the elder experienced physician, the Ruddhas, still completely avoid it in practice. Why? Because of biomechanics. Ushna and hot substances naturally dilate the lower channel of the body. Heat stimulates Apan Vata and promotes Anulomana, which is downward movement. Think out your think about your patient. You have given them the Vamana Kalpa mixed with honey. Now, if you make them drink aggressively hot Yestimadu decoction or a hot milk up to their throat for Akantapan, what happens? The, in, the intense heat will force the pyloric sphincter of the stomach to open. The medicine which is meant to go up will dump downward into the duodenum and the intestine. Instead of Udanovat pushing the toxin up for a smooth emesis, upon what takes over. Your patient will not vomit. Instead, they will experience severe agonizing cramping followed by uncontrolled purgation or viration. In Panchakarma, this is a dreaded complication known as viparya. When the drug intended to goes down, your Vamana has failed. The kapha is still trapped and you have exhausted the patient. How do we prevent this on the clinic floor? You must ensure that Vamana Kalka is prepared at room temperature and the Kanthavana liquid, the decoction you give them to drink, must only be kosher, slightly lukewarm, just warm enough to liquefy the kapha, but never enough to trigger gastric emptying. Let me summarize what we mastered today. Number one, heating honey is generally toxic, creating harm and wish, but woman is the clinical exception because the medicine is expelled before digestion, that is Apaka, and does not stay in a stomach. Anavasthana. Number two, your standard clinical ratio for the emetic paste is 4:2:1. Madanpal, Vacha, and Sendho. Titrated smoothly with honey to act as a scraping agent and yogwahi. Number 3. Never ignore Dulhan warning. Use lukewarm liquid, never hot, to prevent complication of adhogati and ensure the medicine travel upward, not downward. Understanding these deep textual nuances and applying them clinically in what separate a struggling practitioner from an absolute master. Our classical texts are perfectly precise, but they demand your clinical intelligence. When you understand that why behind this shloka, your confidence grows, and when your confidence grows, your clinic thrives. If this video brought clarity to your studies or gave you a new perspective for your clinic, do not leave without hitting that like button. And if you are serious about elevating your BMS practice, hit subscribe right now. Share this video in your BMS college WhatsApp groups. Share it with your colleagues. Let's raise the standard of Ayurvedic practice together. I want to hear from the practitioners in the comment. Have you ever accidentally experienced adhogati in your Panchakarma theatre? How did you manage it? Let's discuss it below. Until next time, keep studying the text, keep perfecting your clinical skill, and keep growing your practice.